G'day folks, MBS here again. Look, I'm back at this stage where I didn't really want to do this video, and then I thought to myself, look, I'm doing such a reasonable job on this rust repair. I thought, well, let's put something together of what I'm doing. But I'd like to say on the outset, I'm not a welder, I'm not a panel beater, I'm not a metalsmith, I'm none of that stuff. The last time I did any sort of metal work was in first year of high school, back in the late 60s. That's getting old, eh? But yeah, look, I don't think you should be afraid of doing what I'm doing if you've got no skills type of thing, you know. So yeah, I'm getting by, and I think I'm doing a half reasonable job. I'm sure the panel beaters that actually come across this video will think different, but for me, can you imagine how much just this little section here would have cost me to repair? Now, let me show you what I've done here in more close-up, so you can see how I've put this together. Alright, here I've marked the section of metal that I've put in here. The first piece was this big piece. Now it's dead straight across here. I've got more pieces to put in at the back, but I've cut the rust out across there, up here, and then across here, and then a bit in here, and then across here, and then I peeled this broken piece off that was in there. First piece I just welded it in, okay, not a big problem. The next piece I made, I used a piece of cardboard. That would be this little piece in here, the little bent piece. You just get cardboard and lay it in over the top, like when this was still in there, like so. I just laid it in over the top of that piece and just kept pushing it in until I got the shape and snipped it. So then I made that piece. And then this piece here, look, I just ripped that whole thing off then, and then it was just a matter of making a flat piece in here and welding that in. Now all my welds are spot welds. I don't do a continuous run weld because this stuff is too thin for me. So I've been using spot welding and setting the timer for around about 0.6 of a second, and I've just been going along spot, grinding it off. Find the spots in between that I didn't get, go spots and spot, you know what I mean. So I don't want any holes remaining at the end of the day. That's obvious where water can get in through the little tiny gap that I haven't welded. At the end of the day, this is going to be bogged up anyway because this bend right here is a little bit shallow. It should be sticking out a little bit more and curling down, but I will do that with bog and to finish that off. So yeah, as you can see, the whole corner is now replaced, and it really wasn't that hard to do, okay? As long as you can spot weld, I guess. And believe you me, it's not hard to learn how to spot weld. It's pretty goddamn easy. Just put the stick in there, press the trigger and go, and you just keep doing that. And also I used an air grinder, one like so, just to grind that into the corner there and put a bit of a radius on it, because I'm trying to emulate exactly what's on the other side of this windscreen. That section is still in reasonable nick, so I'm trying to do a mirror image of what's on the other side on this side. Okay, well that's what I'm up to on this bit here, and I've still got a few more patches to do. There's still a few more there that possibly could have holes in it. You can actually see each individual spot weld, which I don't want to see when I ground that flat. I don't want to see any of this ridges in there where you can actually see I've spot welded it. So when I put a few more welds in there, that'll take care of that. Anything left, I've been using Penetrol rust treatment, and I've been spraying pretty well down in the gaps in here after I finish. Okay, that'll kill any rust in that this will seep through to, because there's panels hidden behind this that I can't get to. Alright, we'll come and have a look at it from this side and you'll see what I've still got left to do. Okay, so this is a piece I cut out. I had to cut this out in sections, and that went in there just like that. And then this piece here went in there just like that. You can see, and it was so cancerous, you can see the bit that there was actually nothing left in there. So I'm going to have to use my imagination here and put a little curve in there to make it meet up with this piece. But that's what I've got left, and this should work out. This will be a little bit more complicated, trying to make this curve and everything, but I'll make this out of several pieces as well. All right, now when you come across a hole like that, now I could sit there and keep spot welding, keep spotting until I close that hole up, but I found a much easier solution. Get a self-tapping screw, screw it into the hole, screw it in, cut it off, and then weld over the top of it. All right, and that'll completely seal that hole off, and you won't even know you put a screw in there to make the fill. So that works out easy fix. Now you can see in here that I've actually got a piece of metal already in there. That was the inside piece, and this piece here is the actual frame, the main body of the frame. So what they do in the factory, they get quite a few pieces, and when they all join up, they spot weld them all together. All right, and that's how all your panels come together. There's spot welds everywhere. So yeah, since this was totally destroyed, this piece that was in here, I had to cut it down until the rust stopped, and it actually went over to there and around the corner, so I was able to get in there and weld it across here and in there. Okay, well there's the piece I've made to go into here. As you saw, there was a piece here and there was a piece there. I've sort of combined them into the one piece, and you can see I've hacksawed a slot into that, and I'm going to panel beat that to the curve that I need in there, and then we'll fill that gap up with another piece of tin or something or other. And we've got all the bends in it at the same angles, and that's going to go in there like so. And now it's not meeting up here, but that doesn't matter, because what I'm going to do is weld it here, 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 and start welding it here. And if it doesn't match that, then that can be pushed in to exactly match it. And then when we get up to about here, I will start hitting that with a hammer to make this end meet up here. If it interferes and fails out there, I'll just get that little grinder of mine, and I'll just cut what I need to off that to get that to fit into there. And then what we'll do from there is we will contour this into shape and cut that correctly, and we'll weld it across here. And then the only piece I've got to do then is that little piece in here to match up to this. Well, at this stage of the game, I thought I'd just show you all the tools that I've used on this job. As you can see, there's not much there, just a few little hand tools, hammers, angle grinder with some flat discs, a cut-off wheel 1mm thick for cutting the panels, a range of different grits of flat discs depending what you want to cut. I've been using a 40-60 grit for removing the lumps on the spot welds, and then I smooth the disc to smooth it down towards the end. A couple of levers, my little Zito Dremel with the diamond cutting disc on it. Very, very handy for getting in tight corners. And of course my MIG welder, the most important piece of the whole kit. Without that I wouldn't have even attempted this. Now you get this from Hitbox on eBay, the MIG 250. Absolutely beautiful investment. I think it was close to about $300 something. Well worth the investment. Then we've got the non-essentials on the left of the welder. If you're going to remove spot welds, then obviously you're going to need a spot weld removal tool, and that's this little sucker here. And it's got the little spot weld removal bit there that you just drill into the spot weld, and you'll see that when we go back to where I finished off yesterday, how this little tool works. and obviously you need a centre punch to go with it to hold that pilot pin in place. A couple of magnets, and you'll see that in use as well shortly. And these are handy but not essential for holding metal in place, because you can put these pliers right around the entire A-pillar and pull down on the metal as you need to, and the same for the clamp. Torch is handy to have a look in spots that you can't see if it's too dark. Oh, and of course we've got the refreshments, some Dinky Guy donuts and something to drink. You've got to keep yourself fed while you're doing all this, so it's pretty good to have those around. Alright, just a quick one on the spot weld removal tool. You can see there, leaves a nice little hole in the panel you want to remove, leaves the spot weld behind here, which we'll grind off later. But that's the easy way to get spot welds apart, is to use that little tool. About 22 bucks or something, or yeah, thereabouts. I got that from Sydney Tools, but you can get them from other tool shops. Bunnings don't have them, so don't go there looking for it. Alright, so yeah, like I said, I don't think I mentioned on this side, but on the other side I'm going to remove this as well as this side, all the way up to the top, and I'm going to widen this channel so I can get in there with a brush and clean this properly, because you can see rust is forming in here as well. It's nothing I have to cut out. I can clean that up and then prime it and reseal it and make myself a new channel. Alright, let's get back to this little fellow where we need to do a little bit more work. Oh yeah, I just remembered something. I better clear up a term I've been using that's incorrect, and the tradesmen have already probably picked up on this. I've been referring to all these little welds I've been doing here as spot welds. Well, they're not spot welds, okay, they're tack welds, okay. That's a spot weld. The little tool I showed you that you need to remove a spot weld. That's technically a spot weld. All I'm doing here is tacking. Alright, so there you go. I've sorted it out. You now know the real term that's used here. So when I say spot, I don't mean that kind of spot weld, I mean this kind of weld. Alright, so yeah, I'm just tacking this all together to start with, and then I continue tacking it to fill in all the gaps to make sure that there's no holes in between the two pieces of metal. So I'm glad I cleared that up, so I'll have to get back to doing this now and finishing this off, and then we'll tackle the rest. Okay, here's the perfect use of the magnets. I've made this tiny little piece to go into here to fill up that hole, and if the magnet wasn't there, I'd lose that inside and it would fall down. I think hopefully on this side it would only fall down into this pocket here and I could actually get to it. I actually lost a piece on the other side when I was doing the repair over there, and never to be seen again, and I had to make a new piece. So I came up with the magnet idea. So that's going to hold it in place. I'm going to tack it here and down here, and then I'll remove the magnet and then go along on the inside here. Now I put this piece in first because I'm going to bend this over. So I'm going to cut the angles correctly and then just fold it over to meet that panel, and then tack weld it to that panel. And this piece I'll probably just cut off, and then I'll make a panel to go into there to finish it off. Okay, super quick look at the tack welding I've done. There you can see the little piece is now tack welded in, and I actually didn't cut this and remove it. I actually folded it. It folded over quite nicely, so all I did was cut a slot into it and then just kept hacking away little corners of it because they're at different angles. They were going to run into each other at the tip here. So I just ground them back until they met nicely, and then welded up that seam, welded up down there. Now this is all, I'm not going to actually continue filming when I'm ready to finish off the tack welding. Everything's tacked into place, but it's not a continual tack as yet. That'll be my final move. Once I've got this little piece in here, then I'll go all out and I will clean up all the weld, continue tack welding it, until I've got no gaps in the weld, so that when I grind it, I can't actually see where I've welded it. It'll look like it's just part of the sheet metal. So that's the aim. And then this corner will be done once that's in and it's all done there. Then it'll be up to a little bit of bog and primer and ready for painting. And then I'll work on this gutter guard and get that replaced and welded, because that gutter guard will come right down here and go over this piece, and it'll come virtually right down to here. All right. So I need to have a nice finish on that, so when I put that into place, it'll match nicely. Okay, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this technique where we use a ball peen hammer to make gaskets. I want to make that little piece in there, so rather than sit there and a ruler and measure it from there to there and the tip and the angle and all that sort of stuff, I'll just put the piece of cardboard in there. That's a straight line through there, so that already starts me off in the right place. And all you do is tap around the edges. Okay, let's get myself out of the way here. Okay, and you end up, I don't know if that'll come out on camera, if I cut around that edge there, I should have a piece that fits into there. And there's the piece, and it fits in beautifully. There you go. Perfect fit. All right, now I can now transfer that onto my sheet metal, cut that piece out exactly to that piece of cardboard, and that piece of metal will fit in there and make it easy to weld. And look at that. Pretty well a perfect fit. Hey look, just a quick word on this MIG welder. I'm actually using this in gasless mode, alright? So I haven't got any argon. Well, I have now. I'll show you that in a minute. But yeah, I've been using this the whole time in gasless mode. Now, it also doubles up. You can use it as an electric welder too, just by undoing these plugs and changing them. You get another lead with this that you can actually use an electrode and do electric welding as well, stick welding. But yeah, look, I went to Burnings and I knew they always had the bottle, but I could never find a regulator that would actually fit the bottle. But now I have. So I picked up this, and apparently the weld is a lot cleaner. Okay, I'll have to change the wire back to normal wire to use with the argon. But if you're going to go gasless, you have to buy special wire, and you also have to buy a knurled roller to go inside that feeds the wire through the cabling. Otherwise it slips. So yes, I end up once again eBay. I got the knurled roller and sorted that out. So now I've got all sorts of stuff for this welder now. So I'm going to try this out one day when I want to do a full run rather than just tacking. And we'll get that happening. We'll have a bit of a practice run on some sheet metal, and we'll see how we go. But yeah, I just thought I'd give this another plug once again from Hitbox. Good value, excellent value for money. Well guys, I've come to an end. I have finished all the welding. I've now primed it, ready for bogging. I'm not going to film the bogging. That is definitely something I'm still learning. So there you go. With the tools you saw that I had, it was easily accomplished. All you got to have to do is maybe a little bit of metalworking skill you picked up from high school, or look, if you want to Google panel beating, metalwork, something like that, look up Chad. I forget what he calls himself, Chad something or other. He's a panel beater, and he puts out a lot of good videos on this type of work. So if you watch a few of them and you've watched mine, I'm sure you'll be able to tackle something like this yourself, save yourself thousands of dollars. I mean thousands. This would easily cost a couple of $1,000, not a worry in the world. And really it cost me virtually nothing. A little bit of sheet metal from Bunnings. I had most of the tools, I got a spot weld removal, which I'm going to finish this video off with, how to remove a spot weld, because I'm going to be doing this gutter line here, and we'll show you that to finish off. Alright, so let's do that. Quick removal of one spot weld for you. All you have to do is identify the spot weld. Okay, so you can actually see them if you move your head around at different lights. You can see a little circle where they've been spotted, and if you can't, as long as you can get that first one out, it's easy enough to spot the rest if they're hidden, like they're bogged over or painted well. And I'll show you how to do that. Like I'm up to here, let's say I can't see the next spot weld. All I have to do is pull on this and it's going to bend where the next spot weld is. So there's a crease starting to happen here. So I know there's a spot weld right there and I can actually see it. So you center punch it, yeah, put a decent center punch in it, get your little spot weld removal drill, you put the pin into that punch hole and you just go lightly. Now you don't want to go full bore at this, you don't want to be punching a hole through this metal and the next piece where it's spot welded too. So take it nice and easy. So that's still not deep enough. Just lift it every now and again to see how deep you're going. And, oh, it's almost breaking away. One more cut. I reckon, there we go. One spot weld removed. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed this video and I'll catch you in another one.